Get ready to get in the game. Stretch, strengthen, live, and thrive. You can be a winning athlete in the game of life. It's the Peel Appeal with author and corrective exercise specialist Matt Peel.
Hey, this is Matt Peel with the Peel Appeal podcast. How are you? What's happening in your world today? I hope you're having a fabulous day, and then I will make it even better because I'm really ready to talk to my guest today that is going to share some amazing principles. And why is that? Because even Jack Canfield likes his success principles and likes to work with my guest. In fact, they wrote a book together called Success Breakthroughs. But more than that, my guest is a certified naturopathic practitioner, certified holistic health coach, and a health, wellness, and nutrition expert. And what I really like about him is that he believes that the more people you can help, the more successful you can become in your own life. And I also share that. And it is true. The more people you can help, the better off you are. And then all comes and pays back to you. So with that, I'd like to welcome on the show lifelong New York City, from the Bronx, born and raised, Victor Dedaj. How are you, Victor?
I'm doing great. It's wonderful to be here, Matt. How you doing today?
I'm doing amazing, as we talked about a little bit offline. As we record this here in the New Orleans, Louisiana area, it is almost 80 degrees, a little warm. But next week, we're actually going to get cold again, because that's what's life living in the Gulf South. Well, up in NYC today, it's in the 40s.
Yep.
Pretty typical.
Yep, exactly. Up and down all the time.
Yeah, that's how we do it. Only like Canada and Minnesota are cold ass all the time, which is why we don't live there.
Exactly.
So I love it. So there's a lot that you do, Victor. I mean, I watched your video on your website, which is Victor Dedaj. That's VictorDedaj.com. And you do a whole lot besides just health wellness. You work with entrepreneurs. You are a motivational speaker, transformational coach. There's a lot of things that you do, man. How did you kind of get into all that? Just a little bit on your backstory.
Well, I originally came from the corporate world. I was in the corporate world for many years, but I got tired of it after a while because I didn't like the way they were treating people. I found that it was getting cutthroat and it wasn't really people friendly. And I felt like I was not making a difference in people's lives. I was just making a few people the very top money. And basically, it just seemed like after a while, when they didn't need you, they will get rid of you. And that's actually what happened to me at the end. And I never looked back. So I moved on into the entrepreneurial world. Now, it is a big learning curve because when you're trying to do something new, you're going to make mistakes. So for those who are trying to be entrepreneurs, expect they're going to be ups and downs. Don't expect everything's going to be smooth sailing because you're doing something, you're going into uncharted territory. So I'm letting you know there are going to be you're going to make errors, you're going to make mistakes, but if you persevere, you get good coaches, good mentors, and you don't give up, you will have success.
True, man. True. There are a lot of ups and downs and walls you hit, and a lot of failures in the beginning. There's a lot of failures all through it, and only the ones that stick through it get to that pinnacle level. So, but what did you get your degree in the first place?
It was in accounting.
Accounting. Oh, math. Math is hard. That's why I only count to 15 nowadays. My degree is in marketing. So I had to take accounting and stats, and I did not do well on that. So I figured that's not for me, which is all right. Then, like you, second kind of career ended up opening up, and I got into health and fitness back in 2008, and I've been in this for the same, the second next career. So I enjoy it, and you kind of did that too. So what exactly is a certified naturopathic practitioner?
Well, basically, we try to do a lot of things naturally. Well, we're open to doing some meds, but very limited stuff. So, like, even though we try to do things as much as possible naturally, we also understand sometimes you might have to do some things with meds. For example, if you have really bad pneumonia, antibiotics could save your life.
Right.
If I get hit by a car and I break some bones and they got to cut me up, please give me some anesthesia. I do not want to be awake when they're cutting me up. So there are times you may need to use them, but I'm saying much of the time you shouldn't, because they have a lot of bad side effects. They drain you of necessary nutrients. So there's a lot of bad things can happen the longer you're on, and the more that you take, the worse that it is, because you will never meet a person who says, I'm on 10 medications and I feel great. It doesn't happen. So if you are on medication, they should only, in general, be for a limited amount of time. So you might need it for a few months, but you really do want to be on something for long term. Although there's a lot of money in it, which is why big pharma loves it, because they make billions of dollars off it. But very often you can get the same benefits from a lot of vitamins and minerals without the side effects. So we try to, and I'm also a certified holistic health coach, which means we look at the whole person. So we don't just look at the kidney, the heart. We look at the entire person, how everything works mentally, physically, spiritually. So we look at the whole person, because we believe that is the best way to treat someone health-wise.
I 100% agree. I'm a corrective exercise specialist as well as a sports performance coach. And where you feel pain isn't necessarily where it comes from, right? So we might feel pain in the elbow, but it could stem from up in your shoulder. Maybe it's in your wrist actually, and it just radiates into your elbow. So you have to look at everything as a bigger picture and see, how are the movement patterns? Or does this function in these areas? Then to say, okay, well, it was really not your elbow. But you got tightness in your bicep, or your shoulder is impinging, which has now caused you compensations. And then when you work on it from that standpoint, then the whole body begins to correct itself. And like you're saying, on the inside, it's the same thing. So looking from the entire vitamins and minerals standpoint, what are some of the more important, say, minerals that in your experience you found that are important for people to consume?
I think the most important ones would probably be calcium, magnesium, selenium, selenium, potassium, zinc. Those are all probably the most important ones. Iron is also important, although with iron it's a two-edged sword. If you get too little of it, you're going to have health issues. But if you get too much of it, it can also cause health problems. So there are a few minerals that you got to keep in a certain range. Iron is one of them, copper is another one, and a few others. But I would say probably the two most important ones are calcium and magnesium, and they work together. So calcium, for example, is a muscle restrictor, so it allows you to make a fist, while magnesium is a muscle relaxant, which allows you to open the fist. So if you have too much calcium without the magnesium, and it goes into your arteries, it can cause, clogging of the arteries. So you always want to make sure you get both. Unfortunately, a lot of people have too much calcium without the magnesium. So magnesium helps with blood pressure, it helps relax you, it's really good. It's involved in like 600 processes. But calcium is also important. It's involved in many different processes. If deficiency leads to maybe up to 150 diseases, and it activates all the cells. And of course, people know it's important for bone health, but calcium is involved in a lot of processes too. And zinc, of course, we know is for wound healing. It's very important for your immune system. Potassium is also important for heart health and blood pressure. So and selenium helps with brain health. It helps with your thyroid health. It helps with heart health. People who get heart attacks are often deficient in selenium. So that's another important reason to get, and it helps prevent cancer. So those are some of the most important minerals, and most people are deficient in many of these minerals, which is one of the reasons why we have a lot of health issues. 100 years ago, we didn't have this problem because we have more in the soil. And the 1936 Senate report says there's deficiencies in the soil. So we know 100 years ago there were deficiencies of minerals. And if it's not in the soil, it's not going to be in the plant. And it's only gotten much worse.
I agree with you. And when we're talking about minerals too, one of the things that sometimes people do as a mistake, they just go out and load up on all these different minerals that we're talking about. So before you do, because there are interactions, there are ways to actually can help and hinder your absorption. Like for example, vitamin D it works well with calcium, right? There are some other things to do besides just taking, a bunch of iron. So consult with whoever is your registered dietitian or your doctor before going out and doing any of these specific minerals if you're not sure how they may help or hinder you. But you're right as far as the soil. And again, the antioxidants that come from all the colors that we eat in fruits, in vegetables, We're having too much processed food. So I'd like to hear your take when we talk about this on the rise in obesity and chronic diseases, and what is your viewpoint on some of the causes for that?
Yeah, so you mentioned ultra processed foods. That's one of the biggest causes. There's so much junk out there. And I'll be honest, when I was young, I ate a lot of junk food. I ate drinks, cakes, Hostess, Cokes, all that stuff. And it was junk back then. But when you look
Right.
at the ingredients have gotten much worse. There are a bunch of ingredients you cannot even pronounce because they add these additives that make you addicted to want to eat more. And I would recommend if you cannot pronounce it, you should not eat it. You want something with fewer and fewer ingredients, like 3 or 4 ingredients, and with more natural stuff. But they're putting like 25, 30 ingredients in it, and adding all the tons of sugars, for example. And a lot of times the sugars are hidden a lot of under these names you're not even aware of. They'll call it corn syrup or something else. It's modified tapioca starch or something. Huge increases in seed oil. Seed oils are some of the most dangerous things out there. And I think those things have caused a rise in obesity, a lot of these chronic conditions, huge increases in diabetes. I mean, type 2 diabetes used to be called adult onset diabetes because you usually got it when you're 40s or 50s. But now kids are getting it when they're 10 years old. That was
Right.
unheard of 45 years ago. But kids are
Right.
eating lots of these sugars. Parents are not aware of all the sugars and the cereals that are in there. And the vast majority of foods in the supermarket are going to have one of these ingredients. So there's a ton of ultra processed foods. People are eating them and they're not getting enough vitamins and minerals. So you combine uh, deficiencies in nutrients combined with an unhealthy eating lifestyle. Also, people not getting enough sleep, people not exercising enough. All those things combine to lead in these increases in the chronic diseases.
Right. And you're absolutely correct. When we talk about shopping, and I have clients want to come to me, weight loss, weight management. What should I eat? Well, fruits and vegetables, lean proteins, whether you want to go plant-based or whether you want to go animal protein. I'm not going to sit here and debate which is better for you or not better for you, but it's the outside of the grocery store, right? If you Kraft macaroni and cheese, as good as it is, that's not a natural product. What's in that powder is not found out there in nature. What's the ingredient list on that? Like you said, hell, who knows? All sorts of crazy words on there. What's the ingredients on an apple? An apple. That's it. You got it. I can figure that out. What's the ingredients on, we'll debate on you can what's an animal protein? It's not still chicken, right? Chicken is a chicken.
Mm-hmm.
It's a chicken.
Yeah.
That's it. It's not uh the spice packet in the macaroni and cheese, right? So that's huge in how we don't digest some of these things, and it does contribute to chronic disease. And then some people have all these myths out there that they've well, I can like for example, vodka has no calories. Vodka does have calories. It does. It's okay. I drink vodka too, but let's not get crazy and say, well, it doesn't have any calories, so I can have as much as I want. So what are some of the health myths that you think are out there hurting people's health?
You just mentioned one right there. A calorie is a calorie. That's actually not always the case. It's where the calorie comes from, and you get the calories from the junk food. It's going to lead to much more weight gain. Weight. You eat the healthier foods, the calories for that will not put on the weight like the calories from the junk food. So calorie does not always equal a calorie, and that's one of the myths out there. They think it's just solely the fewer calories you eat, everything's okay. I mean, it does help in a certain sense. Yes, you eat less food. Yes, it will. But if you're eating, you're saying, but I'm eating 200 less calories, but I'm not losing weight. But it's a lot of junk food. That's why. So
Right.
it's also the type of calories you eat. So that is one of the myths out there. Another myth that is out there is I can get everything I need just from eating healthy foods. It is important to eat healthy foods. That is the first thing. You need to eat healthy foods, but you're not going to get all the nutrients you need from it. You still need to supplement. So that's another myth. A lot of doctors say just eat healthy foods to help you out. It's a good start because you need to supplement. But I will also say some people think if I supplement, that's fine. No, that's also not true. If you get good quality supplements, but you're eating a lot of junk food, you're still going to have health issues. So you need to eat good quality food plus supplement. You cannot out supplement a bad diet. You also cannot outrun a bad diet. So the diet is very important. So and diet is the the biggest part of weight loss. People don't realize. And no, the exercising, lifting weights, all that's very important, especially as you get older, because your muscles will tend to waste away. That's something called sarcopenia. So lifting weights is extremely important. I do it and I recommend it. But what I'm saying is the biggest part of weight loss is the type of diet you have. So make sure you're eating the good quality foods we talked about. That is something extremely important. A lot of people have been told that eggs are bad because they're high in cholesterol. Cholesterol, this whole thing about cholesterol is a scam. Cholesterol is only a problem when it's oxidative. Cholesterol is actually an extremely important nutrient. It's a big chunk of your brain is made of cholesterol, and the rise in use of statins is now considered by many doctors one of the causes in the increase in dementia and Alzheimer's, because people are losing that cholesterol, which is important for your brain. It's important for there will be no human race without cholesterol. You need it to make testosterone, estrogen, and progesterone. You need it to make vitamin D, the bile in your gallbladder. It's important for cell activation. So cholesterol is such an extreme. It's so important. Your liver makes 80% of it. But people have been told cholesterol is bad, bad, bad. No, it is really important. So, in fact, the Inuit in Alaska have cholesterol levels between 300 and 500 with very little heart disease, because they're not eating the junk foods that we are eating here in America. So that's one of the other myths, that cholesterol is bad. You have to worry. Eggs are some of the most nutritious foods out there. It's got tons of different nutrients, lots of proteins, selenium, and zinc, and other things. It's one of the true superfoods. We've even been told don't eat it because of cholesterol. No, and it also won't change your the amount of blood cholesterol in your blood anyway if you really are concerned about cholesterol. People have been told that worrying about salt is bad. If salt is very important, it helps with your digestion, and in fact, the countries where they have the most salt consumption, like Japan, South Korea, France, they actually have the highest longevity rates. Many of the countries where they eat fewer salt, they actually have higher mortality rates. Salt is only a problem, for example, if you have a kidney issue or heart issue. So then you may not be able to get rid of excess salt. But if your heart and kidney are functioning fine, you can eat plenty of the different salt. And I don't mean the table salt you get at home, which only has iodine, which they put in to prevent goiters. You need to get the regular mineral salt that's got like 60 to 80 minerals. That's the real salt. So that is very healthy salt. But we've been told stay away from salt. That is a, a myth. So those are some of the things that cause a lot of issues. And people have also been told eat, the high carb, low fat diet is really healthy. That's caused many decades of health issues, because super high carbs, especially the wrong type of carbs, is very bad. And usually high carb diets are also high seed oil diets. So that's caused a lot of health issues. And if you eat a good amount of the good fats, those good fats are healthy for you. There's certain fats like trans fats, vegetable fats, those are really bad. Obviously, stay away from that. But that low fat, high carb, high seed oil diets cause a lot of issues. And here's the thing: when you get these fat free foods, those foods lose a lot of taste. And what happens when you lose the taste? How do you replace the taste? You put in sugar. So look at the fat free
Right.
foods. They usually have tons of sugar in it. So those are some of the myths I think has caused a lot of health problems. And people also been told the modern wheat is good, but modern wheat causes a lot of issues, and actually it leads to weight gain, and actually can cause. I mean, modern wheat, the glycemic index of eating wheat bread is higher than regular table sugars, and it causes huge increases in what's the thing when people can't process wheat? I'm forgetting the name.
Oh, it's not celiac. Celiac?
Celiac disease, celiac, yeah,
Celiac,
celiac.
yeah.
It leads to huge increases. It leads to huge increases in inflammation, irritable bowel disease, and it also destroys the villi in the intestine. So it makes it harder for you to absorb nutrients. So, and it leads to also issues with the brain, pains, headache pains. So the modern wheat is much worse because it's the gluten that's in it. The gluten is much worse than in the traditional. The traditional wheat was much healthier. So when they introduced the modern wheat 60 years ago, it caused a lot of health issues because they didn't do the research on it. And a lot of people have been told just eat the wheat, it's good. It's not. I would say limit the wheat.
I hear you, dude. Victor, you great points on everything. I like the fact about your supplement. Supplements are great, right? We need them both because you're right. To get everything that we need for or quote unquote RDA, you'd have to eat a shit ton of calories, which isn't necessarily healthy. So yes, let's take some vitamins, let's take some things like that to help supplement that. At the same time, you can't live on a handful of tablets and a shake. Right? You do need regular food. And it's important to mix that all in appropriately. And if you need help with that, again, talk to your medical provider on what may be best for you, or a registered dietitian, or maybe someone like Victor here. So I love everything you're saying. I agree with everything you're saying. It's important at the end, moderation, right? Let's moderate. It's okay. Hey, we just finished up Mardi Gras. What do we love around here? King cake. Have a slice of king cake. It ain't gonna kill you. I enjoy king cake. That's my kryptonite. I'm not gonna tell it no. But I'm not eating king cake every single day. You know, be smart about your choices. At the end of the day, be smart about your choices. Enjoy your life. Don't get overblown on I have to only eat this or I have to only eat that.
Yeah.
Moderate yourself.
Can I share a story of that? Because I totally agree with you. You know, I have pizza sometimes.
Sure.
I don't eat pizza every day. You know, if you go to McDonald's, once
pizza.
every 3 months, it's not a problem. If you go to McDonald's 3 times a week, that's a problem. Tony Robbins shared a story once when he went on the first date with his current wife. He went out to dinner and they were having dessert. Now, she ordered ice cream, and he had not had ice cream in 15 years. So he freaked out, he said, "What are you doing?" She said, "I'm enjoying life, and you should too." And he said, "You know what? You're right." So he decided to have ice cream. He figured every once in a while it's okay to have some ice cream. So, yeah, like I say, you could do it once in a while. It's all right. You don't have to like not eat anything ever. You know, you have a pizza or some of the other stuff that's not too healthy once in a while. It's okay. Don't kill yourself for it. So I just want to say I agree with you.
Yeah, exactly. I love a good pie, as y'all say up there in New York City. Down here we say pizza, but they're pie. I love a nice slice of New York City pie.
Mm-hmm.
So you wrote a book, How to Be Happy, Healthy, and Whole. Why'd you write it? And then how can people, find it for you?
Yeah, the reason I wrote it is because there are a lot of health myths out there, and I think there are a lot of people that would like to live healthier lives, but they're doing some of the wrong things because of some of the health myths they were given, like some of the ones I mentioned. There are a few other things I talk about in the book as well. So I believe that if they follow the advice I put in the book and they do it on a consistent basis, they will see results. They will lose weight. They'll be happy. They'll have more energy. They won't have as many chronic illnesses. So I think if people apply the right things, then they can have these results. And I talk about other things, not just the things of the supplementing, the eating right, and exercising, getting enough sleep. Those are all important. I also talk about at the end I give them some advice like have some gratitude, have some prayer, control your stress. High levels of stress can also cause health issues. For example, spend more time in nature. Those things also, all these things add up. So you do
Yeah,
all these things together, you'll see results. And I also just say be patient with yourself. A lot of people, they want to lose 10 pounds first week. I would say, no, don't worry about it. You lose a pound a week, that's fine. The important thing is you're doing the right things. You do the right things, the results will follow.
agreed. Agreed. And you can find your book on Amazon. It's 99 cents on Kindle and
Yep.
on Amazon also. Is it on audiobook or no?
It's on Amazon Audible, yes, and it's also on paperback and hardcover as well. So whichever one you want, it's $4.99, I believe, on Audible, $11.99 paperback, and I think $14.99 hardcover.
Great. And when you're on there getting his book, remember to pick up The Athlete in the Game of Life by yours truly. And you got 2 books to read here starting whenever Prime delivers to you. But you can also get a free health evaluation at yourfreehealthevaluation.com. And then you can also go to, again, your website, right? Which is Victor Dedaj, VictorDedaj.com. So you can follow Victor. Same thing as YouTube channel. Connect with him on LinkedIn, Instagram, same thing. X or Twitter, whatever the hell you want to call it nowadays, same thing. And then also your Facebook is Victor.Dedaj.3 for your Facebook page. Victor, what else anything else that people can find you? You want to give your email out or not really?
Yeah, you can also email me at VictorDedaj@VictorDedaj.com. And the last thing I just want to say is take control of your health. Don't let people who make money off of you getting sick have control of your health. You need to be your own best advisor. So take control of your health and you'll be happier.
That's fantastic, man. So this is Matt Peel with the Peel Appeal podcast. Again, remember, go check out his books on Amazon. Check out mine, The Athlete, the Game of Life, which is also available on paperback and audiobook. So if you like the sound of my silky, sexy voice, I'm the one narrating it. So you can check it out, listen to it, and enjoy. Victor, awesome, man. Appreciate it.
Well, thanks. It was a great interview. It was a lot of fun. I definitely enjoyed this, Matt.
Well, we will talk to you later. Thanks for listening to the Peel Appeal podcast.
Are you ready to get in the game? Get personal help, sign up for our newsletter, and pick up your copy of Athlete in the Game of Life, the book, all at mattpeel.com. Thanks for listening.